Hello students, welcome back. In this picture we could see a bus which is run without power lines but runs on the power stored in large supercapacitors which are quickly recharged whenever the electric bus stops at any bus stop, and it gets fully charged in the terminus. This is done in China, and that was introduced actually in 2005 and 6. In 2010, 3 to 6 kilometers the buses started running. The supercapacitors are then charged on each bus stop with a pantograph. 30 seconds is enough to get it charged either to 50 to 50%, and it takes 80 seconds to charge 100%. So supercapacitor bus being recharged at each bus stop. So in this unit, in this lecture, we'll be discussing about supercapacitor. The course outcome for this is to impart knowledge on various energy storage sources, and the Bloom's taxonomy level is apply. And the learning outcome is that at the end of this lecture, you'll be able to gain knowledge on supercapacitors. So what are supercapacitors? The questions that you can expect is that explain advantages, disadvantages, and applications of supercapacitors, and what is the role of density in supercapacitor applications. The outline of my explanation will be in this order, like what is a supercapacitor, capacitor, supercapacitor, history, basic design, construction, working, technology, and why these substances are used, how we go about charging, discharging, features, comparison, applications, advantages and disadvantages. So first of all, what is a capacitor? It is originally known as a condenser, as a passive two-terminal electrical component used to store energy in its electric field. But when a capacitor is attached across a battery, an electric field develops across the dielectric, causing positive charge plus Q to collect on one plate and negative charge minus Q to collect on the other plate. So supercapacitor is an electrochemical capacitor that has a very high energy density as compared to common capacitors, about 100 times greater. So they're also known as electric double layer capacitor or ultra capacitor. The capacitance range is from 100 farads to 5 kilofarads also. So in 1950, General Electric engineers, they used components using porous carbon electrodes for fuel cells and rechargeable batteries. In 1957, a low voltage electrolytic capacitor with porous carbon electrodes was used, and that capacitor came to be known as supercapacitor as it stores very high amount of energy. Why this could store more energy is that we have an electrochemical double layer capacitors and store energy using ion adsorption. These are the two things which are responsible for storing. One is electrochemical double layer, the another one is ion adsorption. And high specific surface area of the electrodes, 100 to 120 F by G non-aqueous electrolytes, or 150 to 300 in aqueous electrolytes. So the basic design is that electrochemical capacitor, it consists of two electrodes as usual, separated by an ion permeable membrane which will act like a separator, and an electrolyte electrically connecting both electrodes. When the voltage is applied, ions in the electrolyte from electric double layers of opposite polarity to electrodes polarity. It forms. For example, positive electrodes will have a layer of negative ions, and the negative electrodes will have a layer of positive ions. See here, this is what is happening. So when we have the arrangement like this, okay, plus minus, but when the voltage is applied here, and the voltage is applied, positive electrode will have a layer of negative ions, and the negative electrode will have a layer of positive ions. So there is formation of a electrical double layer. Supercapacitors are constructed with two metal foils, each coated with an electrode material such as activated carbon. Um, so we have two layers, each coated with activated carbon, and they are separated. Okay, we have a separator. So with two metal foils, each coated with an electrode material such as activated carbon, the electrodes are kept apart by an ion permeable membrane, which we call it as a separator. So this will act as an insulator so that the electrodes they are protected against short circuit. And the construction is subsequently rolled or folded into a cylindrical or rectangular shape and is packed in an aluminum can. So this is how it is rolled in an aluminum can. So you have positive electrode, this one is a negative electrode, and this is a separator. Like that we have several layers and they are rolled into an aluminum can. So in a supercapacitor, there is no conventional dielectric. Both plates are soaked in an electrolyte and separated by a very thin insulator. And when the plates are charged, an opposite charge forms on either side of the separator, creating what is called electrical double layer. And this is why supercapacitors are often referred to as double layer capacitors. So this is what is happening during discharging, and during charging, a charge separation takes place. Electrochemical capacitor, it has two electrodes separated by a separator which are electrically connected to each other via the electrolyte. And when voltage is applied, the plates gets charged. An opposite charge forms on either side of the separator, creating a electrical double layer. So this is the structure of electrical double layer. Okay, negatively charged. Okay, positive ions are attracted towards this, and on the other hand, negative ions are attracted, and there is a formation of a double layer, adsorbed layers of ions and solvated ions. So what are we using here? The technology, the carbon nanotubes, carbon aerogels are used for supercapacitor plates, electrodes, and sodium perchlorate or lithium perchlorate are used as electrolytes. Polyacrylonitrile is used as a separator, and aluminium for packing the component. Why these substances are chosen especially? Carbon nanotubes, they greatly improve capacitor performance because they have highly wettable surface area and high conductivity. They are also highly porous. And electrolytes, as far as electrolytes are concerned, they can widely work. They can work in a wide range of temperature like minus 90 degrees Celsius to 400 degrees Celsius, non-flammable and low toxic, non-corrosive to the electrode. And the separator, it has a very unique tensile strength, like 103 megapascal. Electrical conductivity is 1.5 to 10 power 4 Siemens per meter, and it is not degraded that easily. And here you could see how a lead acid battery works, an ultra capacitor and a conventional capacitor. Lead acid battery charging time is 1 to 5 hours, whereas ultra capacitor zero point 0.3 to 30 seconds. Discharge time 0.3 to 3 hours, zero point 0.3 to 30 seconds. Energy 10 to 100, this is 1 to 10. Cycle life only 1000, here greater than 5 lakhs times. And the specific power is less than 1000, this is less than 10,000 times. Charge discharge efficiency 0.7 to 0.85, here 0.85 to 0.98. So the features are, it stores high amount of energy, high capacitance, high rates of charge and discharge, little degradation over thousands of cycle, low toxicity, high cycle efficiency, like 95% we can achieve. This is electrostatic capacitor, electrolytic capacitor, and in supercapacitor we are using electrochemical double layer. The applications are in startup mechanism for automobiles and diesel engine. It is startup in submarines and tanks. And when I introduced it, I told you like China is experimenting on new form of electric bus. Okay, this was introduced in 2005 and 2006. Two commercial bus routes began to use supercapacitor buses, and backup power system in missiles, power source for laptops, flash in cameras, voltage stabilizers. There's a bus operated on supercapacitor in Shanghai. Supercapacitor installed in bus. And the advantages are high energy could be stored, and I told you like it can work from minus 40 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, eco-friendly, quick charging time, maximum life cycle, high cycle efficiency like 95%, high specific power up to 17 kilowatt per kilogram, and extremely low internal resistance and safe. But we also have some disadvantages. They are low energy density usually holds 1 by 5 to 1 by 10 of a battery, cannot use the full energy spectrum for some applications. It cannot be applied for all the applications. The voltage varies with energy stored, have high self-discharge rate. Individual cells have low voltage, and so serial connections are needed to obtain higher voltages. It requires expert electronic control and cannot be used in AC and high frequency circuits, and the cost is high. And the conclusion is that supercapacitors, it may be used where high power or energy storage is required, and they can be used widely because of their long life and short charging time. On the other hand, it has limitations due to its high cost, self discharge, packaging problems, etc. So, as I told you, like at the end of this lecture, you'll have knowledge on supercapacitors and the learning outcome is achieved. And I would like to acknowledge SlideShare and thank you for your patience listening. Thank you.